Meow. Meow. Chat, this is the greatest thing ever. What is going on, everybody? Pherix here, back with another video. In today's video, we're going to be going over a full haste Fire Mage build and how we use it in PvP. We're going to talk about the comps that it's good against, not good against, what comps you should run it in and not run it in, and all around the pros and the cons of this build. So without further ado, let's get into it. First off, I want to go ahead and get started and talk about our gear a little bit and our stats outside of the arena. Now, right now, we're looking at a huge 63% baseline haste, and that is a very, very large amount of haste, typically a lot more than you'd see a fire mage use. Anywhere usually from 25 to 35% is about what any other normal mage will use. However, with this build, we are going full haste, and we are sacrificing a lot of versatility for that. So with this build, you're going to be very squishy. It's going to be a very glass cannon build, but you will be able to put out a very, very large amount of damage in a very short amount of time. Get those Greater Pyros chain rolling, and hopefully the team will not see it, or they won't see it in time. We're able to get 2, 3, maybe even 4 out in a matter of a few seconds to really shock the enemy team there. So there are a few key things that you need to really make this build work, especially your corruption and your trinkets. So one of the most important things about this whole build is that everything needs to be enchanted and socketed in haste. You need to get as much haste as you possibly can. So not only with every piece of gear being haste and versatility, you want to try to get everything socketed haste, and you also want to try to enchant everything in haste as well. I have been experimenting with the weapon enchant being quick navigation, just getting that extra haste proc, which double dips from our haste corruption that I will go over a little bit later. And then for trinkets, obviously the badge right here, I just use it because it's got a lot of versatility on it and haste. However, if you really want to get in that full haste build, I'd highly recommend running a Vita Charged Titan Shard. This gives you a very, very large amount of baseline haste, and when it procs, it's a very, very insane proc with a very high value of haste that you can actually get from it. So I would highly recommend using this trinket right here if you're going for this full haste build. Next up, I'll talk about our Azerite a little bit. Ideally, you want to try to get 3 overwhelming powers. Now, I have been experimenting with this a little bit. I'm actually only running 2 overwhelming powers right now because of the fact I'm also running 2 Heart of Darknesses. Now, what overwhelming power does is every time it procs, it will stack on each other and give you even more haste, which is a very, very large amount. Triple overwhelming power gives you a huge amount of haste, but even 2, I think still can do really, really well. The only reason I'm running 2 right now is because I'm running a Heart of Darkness on my chest and my shoulders as well, which gives you that secondary stat line by 87, or at least 80-ish, depending on what Azerite piece you have. And running 2 of those can really get that haste up for the baseline. Other than that, don't really have to change too much about your essences here. Only thing I would recommend is if you're chaining pies, I would run Minor Essence of Focusing Iris. Now this will give you that haste, and which will stack up to about 10 times. So right here, 43 every 4 seconds. Second up to 10 times, you can get an extra 403 haste right there alone, just from that if you're chaining damage on one target. Other than that, the other ones don't particularly matter. They don't really give that much haste or anything to really help out the build. So other than that, we got those covered. Like I said, you want to try to get everything gemmed and enchanted in haste as we see here. I'm going to go ahead and talk about our corruption right now. So for our corruption, we are running 5 Expedient 3s and 1 Racing Pulse 3. What that is, there is going to be 5 12% haste amps for all your gear, and then 1 tier 3 Racing Pulse. Now, you could be able to get 7 12%, but I have looked into it, and getting that 1 Racing Pulse proc can really increase how much haste you get, especially judging from the fact not only are you going to get that Racing Pulse, but you're also going to be getting an additional 60% of that tier 3 proc because of the 12% experience that you have. So you're almost getting about a tier 5 Racing Pulse with 5 tier 3s, making that 60% additional gain from any haste source, which I think is really, really insane here. If we start attacking dummies and throwing out Greater Pyros, we notice right now, without any buffs on, our Greater Pyro is 2.8 seconds. Now that is a very, very quick Greater Pyro with no buffs at all. Once we start acquiring these procs and getting a few of these different procs right now, right here we see Quick Navigation being procced, and we also have that Essence of Focusing Iris Minor. The Greater Pyro is already getting automatically a few milliseconds quicker, and once the procs start adding up, see there we get a Racing Pulse and a Overwhelming Power, and there we got it already down to 1.9, almost taking a full second off of that Greater Pyro at already 100% haste. This build is absolutely insane. If you get really lucky, get all these procs rolling, like that Racing Pulse, the Vita Charge, the Overwhelming Powers from your Azerite, you'll be able to fly and get that weapon enchant as well. Your Greater Pyros, I've gotten them down as low as we can get them to maybe 1.5 seconds. Very, very quick Greater Pyros here. And typically this can catch the enemy team off guard. They are not ready for how fast you're able to get out these Greater Pyros here. And you can get a lot of damage out very, very quickly here. Right now we're already at 1.9 seconds and we still have a few procs that we haven't really acquired. It's absolutely insane build. And I think it's very, very good. So other than that, like I said, the 2.8 baseline GPI can really, really impact games. However, there are situations where I do not think this build should be used. Anything that has a melee cleave usually, that's going to probably run at the Mage. I would not recommend this build. I would not recommend this build in a Rogue Mage. Or something you think is potentially going to kill you. With this build, like I said, you are very glass cannon, very squishy, and you are bound to die. With having only 21% baseline versatility, you are going to take a very, very large amount of damage compared to about the 40 to 45 you can get if you're playing full verse. However, that is a lot less fun. I will say that. But if you're playing Mage Lock or maybe another double caster like Mage Ellie or something, I think this full haste build could be very, very beneficial to you and your team. Get out a lot of damage really, really quickly. I think something like another caster cleave, like Shadow Play, or another Mage Lock Mirror, these are very, very good comps to queue and play that full haste build, because typically, if they're not playing that full haste build, that enemy mage, and you can get out maybe 2 or 3 Greater Pyros to their 1, you're going to be miles ahead in damage and in pressure every time. You just have to play a little safer because you're going to be playing less versatility, obviously. But you will have a very large amount of haste. And not only does haste affect your Greater Pyros, but it will affect your globals on your combustion. It will affect poly. Right now at 63% haste, poly is a 1 second cast time. A mere 1 second. Getting all procs, we can get that down to a 0.7 of a second cast time, which means quicker than a global. Druids will not be able to shift before the poly lands. Priests won't have enough time to press Premonition. The poly will be very, very quick. You'll get more globals during your combustion to do more damage, as we see here. We haven't really got any procs here. But if we started getting procs during your combustion, your globals are extremely quick. Everything will be very fast. And like even for example, DB Ring. Ring is only a 1 second cast time as well. There it is right there, a 0.83 second. Very, very, very quick cast times. And you'll be able to get out a lot of CC. You'll be able to get out a lot of damage. I think this build overall is very, very strong. Alright. And like I said, enemy teams that won't be expecting this, they will be taking the most damage. I will queue into some enemy teams, and they will not be ready. I'll get 2 or 3 Greater Pyros in under 5 seconds, and they are not ready for that amount of damage. with Greater Pyro doing up to 35% of your HP. Getting them out to 1 every 2 seconds even is absolutely insane. But like I said, very glass cannon build. I'll go ahead and show some gameplay of me in the arena, doing some very quick Greater Pyros here. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got for the video. Thank you guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Should have some more content rolling out in the week here. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it, and take care.
Yeah.
Pick next. I'll pick next 5. Oh, just kill. Just kill. He's dead. There's a fly coming in. He's dead, yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, it's not. Uh-oh. 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 I got 4 pies. Setting up a pie. 1. I got 2. I got 3. He's dead. Bye. See ya. So let me train the pies.